Well, welcome back, Josh.
What's up, Leighton? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. And unfortunately, I might have to bounce a little early today. A friend of mine just drove cross country with a new, basically a grist mill. So he just got here. We just got unloaded. He's returning the trailer now, and then we've just got to start going over, our first experiments. So, but let's dive right in. Give me an update. What's going on with your grow there?
Yeah, man, we're rolling. I mean, it's full steam ahead in here. I mean, like I told you just a second ago, I'm turning sand into soil. So I wanted to show you that actually. So if you want, I can go ahead and flip the camera around. We can get right into it if you want.
Please.
All right, hang on. Let me. Whoops, it's the wrong button. Let me go to my settings, my camera, flip it around.
Yeah, when Mark arrives, these guys are going to probably start going wild. So I got him on a leash, but I'll have to hit mute so that I don't blow up the podcast. So bear with me.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, the lights go off in here in an hour, so we got an hour in here. Nice. But I wanted to show you this. Look at this pile. This is a pile of worm castings.
Yeah.
And this leads to right into the creek. So what's happening here is that I'm piling up this algae here. Sorry, it's a little difficult to move this, but what's happening? Let me see if I can show you. Look at the worms.
Yeah, and all kinds of roots growing in there.
This is just algae. This is algae that I've pulled out of the creek here. And I'm just laying it on here, and the worms are coming up. So the worms, what I'm noticing is that the worms are loving the edge of the creek. So right around the edge, so the water's down here, the water line's here, and then but from here up to the creek wall before we enter into the soil, right through here is where all those worms are just. I mean, it's insane how they turn it in. There's one right there, look. And it just turns all that silt and sand that we have built up into the creek, and it's overlapping into the soil beds and turning into worm castings.
Amazing.
And it's got...
Yeah, I could see the cysts or the eggs.
Those are snails.
Oh, those are snails. Okay.
Those are snail shells. And the snails come up, I've noticed, and the snail shells come up into these grasses here that come up out of this algae. So the algae, you can see, is building up around this grass. And then I just lay this up here on the soil. Sorry for my camera work.
No, you're good. You're good.
And then the worms take over and turn it into that black gold that you see right there. So all this black gold you see here used to be the sand and the silt that's in the bottom of the creek here. There's a shrimp right there.
Yep.
That's cherry shrimp. There, I got thousands of cherry shrimp in here now.
Did you add them or did they start breeding?
I put 6 in, and now I've got about 10,000.
Nice. Well, obviously, they're liking your environment, my friend.
They love it. They love it. But more importantly, then we've got the cannabis, which is really loving it. I think your trailer's back. But this is the Verde skunk. This is from Luna Whitcomb. And this is a beautiful flower. It's a hybrid flower. It's a Chili Verde times skunk number 1.
I've got him on mute, so just keep going, brother.
Yeah, I figured he was on mute because of the dog. But the cannabis and all the plants in here are just loving life. I've got everything nice and thinned out down here at the bottom. Got to get around here because this bush here, as you can see, is growing all up against the wall here. And then I have a nitrite pad here. This is just a pad that came out of the creek, and I just take the pad out and lay it on top of the soil, and then the worms come up and eat all the poo and junk out of the nitrate pad. So the nitrate pad used to be sitting right here, and this is just a bag of charcoal here, or biochar, so to speak. And here is another nitrate pad. This one should probably have some worms. Yeah, there we go. We got some worms running through the fish poo. So that's how I'm transferring. That's just one way I'm transferring the aquatic biology from the creek into the soil beds, is by these nitrate pads, and just by simply laying sand and silt along the edges of the creek and letting the worms just turn it into this black gold here. And then we just sprinkle some, like the roots will just grow right to it. We don't really have to do anything. All that organic matter is just wicking water up over the creek wall into the soil beds. And the plants just seem to love it. All that aquatic biology. I haven't seen any tip burns, any type of burn whatsoever in the plants. Everything's just humming along. We've got these elephant ears. I'll show you. Let's go over here. I've got elephant ears growing out my ass. This one's growing in the hole, so it's coming up out of the hole here. That's the trap hole where the water fills up when we have too much water in the soil. And then this elephant ear here, you can see how big it is. This is covering the pond, or partial of the pond here, where we have Cooter and Scooter. Here they are right here. That looks like Scooter right there. He's getting big. And then, see if I can find Cooter over there. We've got a bunch of different fish in here. The pond is crystal clear. You can see clear down to the bottom where the rocks are. And there's 200 gallons of water in here. So you can see clear to the bottom. And the turtles are healthy. No slime on their shells or anything like that. So you got to remember that we're not using any filter. There is no filter box. The only filtration we are using is the creek itself, and then the few of these nitrate pads that we put into the creek. And then we've got I think the last time we didn't have the terrestrial side done. So this is the terrestrial side. So this is completely, so you can see the pond right here. And then the terrestrial side is where Digger lives. And Digger is my rescued box turtle. And he was right over here a minute ago. Yeah, there he is. He's a baby. Here, let me just pick him up. And then we'll get it easy. You see how small he is. He's a baby box turtle. And he was found in the road, and my nieces and nephews brought him in here. And I didn't know they were illegal not to have as a baby, but he's here now, and we can register him with the state, Virginia Wildlife Commission. So we've got an application that we are going to fill out to see if we can get him registered to where we can keep him. If not, he has to go back into the wild, which we'll just have to build him a nice home outside. But everything else in here has been just humming along. We're using a lot of different. So we have a smorgasbord of IMOs going on over here. I'm using the IMO to cook in here while I'm in flower, and that's producing my CO2. So I'm getting my CO2 up in the room by cooking my IMO. So right now you can see we are right at 110 degrees, somewhere around there in this bucket here. And then I've got all these buckets going. This is all IMO 3. So this is just I use sawdust, oat. It's oat wood done at a mill. There's a mill around the house here, and it's just sawdust. It's already starting to clump up. It's only been here for a day, and it's already starting to clump. It's sawdust and wheat bran. It's right at 100 and this thing about 106. Is that what it says? Yeah, 106. Yep. So that's where that one is right now. And it's kind of funny because it depends on how far down I go. Like right at the top seems to be hotter. And if I push it all the way to the bottom, it seems to go down a little bit. You can watch it go down.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then if I pull it back up and just set it in there, maybe the top half of this than the bottom half. And I'm not sure why it does that. It just does. Depends on what.
It's probably related to the oxygen. So the less oxygen, the less heat, but the more oxygen, the more fuel to get the biology.
Gotcha. So yeah, what I was thinking is I was just going to take this and just since it's so long, I can just take it and poke holes down and kind of give it create a hole there. You can see how it's staying. Holes are staying together. They're not falling in like they should be because it's just nothing but sawdust and wheat bran. And then it's got, the IMO, the natural farm inputs, which I use Chris Trump's
recipe.
His recipe, recipe.
Yeah, what you're basically doing when you're poking holes is making it into a Johnson Sioux reactor, which is
yep. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was turning it into Johnson Sioux, except I didn't have them there to begin with. I was just kind of creating them as they. But, the buckets get so hot, you can feel the heat, and once you start feeling the heat, if you don't poke holes, they'll get crazy hot.
Oh yeah, yep. And you don't want that to happen because then you'll cook out your anything over 20, you start to lose diversity.
Yeah. Well, see, this is what I'm doing. So this is just my first stage. So what I'm doing here is I'm cooking here. All right. So this will be my IMO 3, and then I would go to here. This is IMO 4, and this is where I've added soil, my soil from outside, and I've added some barley oats. I've added some kelp meal and some alfalfa meal, and then I'm re-cooking. But I'm definitely not getting this over 120. I'm trying to keep it actually around 110 to 100. And it really depends on where I move this thermometers. Depends on how hot I'm getting. I'm in the 110 range pretty much everywhere. And so this will be like the second time I've cooked this pile, except I didn't have the soil in it. And then I can go over here to this one. This one is IMO 5. So I've added the rabbit shit. I've added rabbit shit to this. You can see some of it. I didn't break it up though. I just kind of mixed the rabbit shit into here. And now this one is actually re-cooking again. So I added rabbit and some more wheat bran and some little bit of sawdust. And we're back up into temperature range. So yeah, we're staying right at that 1 to 110 range is where I want to be.
That's perfect. And I love cold manures. Rabbit manure is great.
Yeah, that's all I'm using because that's all I have really. Because I have a rabbit. That's June is our rabbit, and she stays indoors with us, along with 2 beagles. So if you can believe that, we got 2 hounds and a rabbit. It's like Bambi all over again. You know
I was
what I
going
mean?
to say almost a Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it is. My house is a Looney Tunes. I'm telling you. I mean, look what I got in my garage. I mean, imagine what I got in my house.
Well, you've really done a wonderful job. I love the nitrate pads to remove any excess. And then you just squeeze them out fucking right underneath the plants. So that's fantastic. Everything looks so healthy. I'm really doing a great job, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, everything does look super healthy. And I mean, I couldn't thank you guys more. I mean, you really helped me put this whole thing wouldn't be possible without that soil horizontal, that horizontal soil system, that layered system, which really got my brain thinking. You know what I mean? It really got my brain turning. I was like, wait a minute, we can bring this inside. You know what I mean? Like, we can do this the right way, the same way they do it outside. Just bring it in, and yeah, it's been phenomenal. And the terpene profile, Leighton, is just, I can't tell you. This is week 6. This is day 42 of flower, and they are just this flower is just showing every single one of it. It doesn't matter the genetics; like they're all different genetics, but they're all showing themselves. You know what I mean? I'm just seeing things that I wouldn't normally see. And the smells are just phenomenal. Oh my Lord. And I'm just starting to lower the temperature in here to mimic fall. So I've the little bit of research I've done with I've actually had a couple of people on the Future Cannabis Project, Peter over there. This was a couple of years ago where a guy from, I think it was Colorado State, it was a university. I'm not sure if it's the right university or not, but anyway, they did a test on temperature and terpenes and where terpenes start to really drop off. The yield starts to take up because the temperature, if your temperature is high, like around 78 to 80 degrees, the yields went up, but the terpenes production went down. The lower the temps, so the temperature around 69 to 74, the terpenes went up, but yield went down.
Interesting.
So I was thinking, if I can get the temperature around 74 and the humidity around 60, 58, 60, basically the same temperature as if we were going to dry and cure the cannabis. Like we could start like right now in week 6 and start dropping the temperatures. Like right now, the terpenes are really starting. I'm really starting to smell. They're really starting to off gas that smell. So I'm thinking like, hey, why don't we go ahead and start lowering the temperature in here to try and keep and capture a lot of that before they, volatilate into the sky. So my theory is that if I just lower the temperature down to, as low as I can get it without throwing off my VPD too much, I can only get the humidity so low in here. So I can only go so low with temperature. But I think I can get my temperature down to 73-ish, 72-ish, and keep my humidity around 57, 58, and give me my VPD around like 1.1 to 1.2, and really hold these terpenes in throughout the rest of the grow. And then it's all about changing these lights. So I've completely gotten away from the deep red and the far red. The far red really just stretched the hell out of these plants. So it was unbelievable. In 5 days' time, depending on the cultivar now, but the Verde skunk here, this Verde stretched like I was easy 5 inches in 5 days without the blue light. So without that cool blue white light, and just the reds and the cool, it was a warm, they call it a warm white, and then the red and far red. And I threw those on there for 5 days, Leighton. And I mean, the stretch was unbelievable.
But they're stacking up pretty nice there. It looks like you're going to have a hell of a yield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The yield's not a problem. I mean, that's what I was trying to get to is that red. You know, the more research I did on it, and what I found out is that really that red is more for like a morning time. It's like like those plants are mimicking that morning sunrise, and they're trying to they're not getting that light that they're supposed to be getting, so they're stretching, trying to get to that light through like a tree canopy or something. You know, like when the morning sun comes up, it's almost like the morning sun is stopping right at the tree canopy line, and the plants are like stretching to get to the sun. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, we had a lighting guru on here, and we were talking about just that some of these more advanced grows are doing side lighting with reds, and they mimic the sunrise and the sunset, and they're having tremendous yields and tremendous results. So you're definitely on the right path, and you're absolutely correct about the plants stretching when you get into the reds.
Yeah, it was really quite shocking. You know, I knew they would, but I didn't understand why. You know, I really was in the dark about why they did it. I knew, and I thought that the red was like really what was going to push those terpenes, you know, and come to find out it's not the red at all. It's really more of the cool blue. It's that cool blue that's really what it was pushing these terpenes. And since I got rid of that, what I've seen in the flowers is just they love it, and they're just this. I don't see any burns. I don't see any types of like stress. Yeah, I don't see any stress whatsoever in the flowers, and that was shocking to me because I've always gotten that stress at this time, at this juncture. Of the flower stage, like right at this time frame is when they really seem to be finicky. And like I always get these burns on the ends of the leaves. I always get like the white pistils always start to burn. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this time it's just everything is crystal white. Everything seems healthy. And I contribute a lot of that to the soil, and the way the biology is starting to merge. So that aquatic biology with that terrestrial biology is really starting to merge, and I can see it with my own eyes. I can see the worms and all the isopods and all the critters down here just destroying all the sand that I've laid down here. And it just turns into like this moist, wet gold that the plants just love. And I'll show you, I dug down here a little bit ago. I want to show you a root, how white the root was. Look at that root right. That's a cannabis root.
Damn, that's a nice one.
I didn't want to go too deep. I didn't want to go too deep, but I just wanted to see. You can see the plug right here. And then that's just one of the roots.
No, look at all those feeders.
Yeah, look at the hairs coming off there. I mean, it was a beautiful thing to see. I was like, hell yeah, that's what I want to see. And I've also noticed that I really have to do like what I call chicken scratching. You can see some worms up in there digging. So the worms will completely turn this underside of this pad into nothing but worm castings. It'll just be little balls of worm castings left in this pad. And all
Nice.
that was catching that fish poo, and the worms will come up and just completely devour all of that, and it'll all go right into the soil right here. And you can see how moist it stays.
No, you've created a heck of an ecosystem there, my friend. Really well done.
It's crazy, man. I'm actually shocked myself, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I thought I was gonna have some issues, you know. I thought I was, but listening to you guys and listen and just not thinking I knew everything, you know what I mean? Like, actually paid attention and listened to you, and like I've been listening to a lot of Matt Powers and just focusing in on the soil and the soil biology and not so much the plants. And the plants just respond to the biology. And it's those microbes, man, that are just, it's insane. Look everything that's coming up along the edge of the crib. That's my Bambi right there.
Nice.
All these little different plants popping up everywhere. And then
I
you've got,
love the diversity too. That's just fantastic.
I'm not even sure what that is, but it's pretty.
So
And then
there's this that you can get that identifies plants that I use on a regular basis. You can get the free version. I actually pay for mine. It's called Picture This.
Picture
suggest, yeah, Picture This, and you get so many pictures a month before you have to pay for it. But you know, again, it's nice to have that because it's going to tell you more about the plant. Once you know what plant it is, you can then go dive deeper on what is it doing, because all those plants are doing different functions as far as fertility, as well as nutrient release, different types of biology associated with different plants. So again, going for diversity, and that diversity is going to express in the canvas plants.
Yeah,
So
well, it definitely is. The diversity is insane on how the plants look. And this is the third run, so this is just the third time I've actually had plants in here, and this time is a night and day difference than the first and second runs. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a night and day difference.
yeah, you're really getting mature is what you're doing, and it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, it's getting like, now that I kind of know a little bit about what I'm doing, and I can actually, plan ahead and prepare for what's coming, and I know what's coming. It's kind of easy now. You know what I mean? It's gotten to the point where I don't have to do anything but be a steward to the actual bed itself. The flowers just love the whole thing. I mean, I just need to maintain my pads, make sure that my creek stays, clean.
Yep.
Just lay my pads up on the soil once they're done. Once they're filled up, I got to replace I just put some biochar in this little sack here, and we place it right in the creek. The rocks sit right there so it don't flow in, and that we change that about once a week.
Nice.
And we have a Chemi Pure bag. Right now I got a shrimp on it too. This is what I used to use in my saltwater aquarium. And these are Chemi Pure bags, and I'll show you if people are interested. These are awesome. They come in this they're called Chemi Pure.
So do they have zeolite in them?
I believe they have, let me read, advanced phosphate removal. Let me see what they got. They got a lot of stuff, and mostly it's charcoal and clays.
Okay.
I'm not sure what would you just say?
Zeolite. Check out zeolite. It's the indigenous used to use it for cities to purify the water. So and it's mined right in Colorado somewhere. We're very blessed as a country to have a zeolite mine. But when I had my big aquaculture system, I had a problem. Someone had gone fishing and they gained access to my space to do a check on the sprinklers. and someone put their hand in the tank, and I started to get sick fish. And the way I cleaned the water and got rid of the green algae was using zeolite.
I don't see that on the bottle, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, definitely check into it. I mean, it can't hurt, and it can only diversify things a little bit more. And you do it very similar to what you're doing with a biochar. Just throw a handful of it in a baggie, lay it in the creek, and let it do its thing.
Yep. And then I take that carbon and put it into my IMO 4 and 5.
Love it, dude. Love it. And you're not using charged biochar, right? You're using what we call
plain. Correct. Yeah, it's for fish tanks.
Yep. So it's uncharged, so it does not come with microbes.
Correct. Yeah, it's completely inert almost.
Yep, and now you take it out, it's charged, baby.
It's charged to the max. Let me tell you, I let them sit in there for about a week, and man, I can tell you, there's enough fish shit in that thing, and turtle shit and everything else. And I'm also running, the EM1. This is a big part of how I'm keeping the creek clean.
Yep.
I've got activated EM1 right here, and I've got lactic acid bacteria right here. So I'm just combining the two. So I'm doing a half and half, and I'm putting it right in the top of the creek and letting it cycle through the system. I do that once a week, and the shrimp, I mean, I've never seen the shrimp so bright. And when I started doing that is when I started seeing the shrimp just explode.
Yep, and I'm sure they just started breeding like crazy because it gave them everything
they did. They just started breeding like crazy. And then we've got the lucky bamboo, which is no relation to bamboo at all, but we just started getting new shoots down.
Nice.
Started new shoots down coming off the lucky bamboo. So yeah, the elephant ears are giving me great photosynthesis because they're so big. So they're pushing a lot of exudates down into the soil.
Yep.
You can see how big they are. Like each one is well above hand size. And I've got these covering, there's a black soldier fly.
Nice.
And I've got this growing over the creek. So it's giving me that shade down here that I need to keep that algae from growing over and taking over. So I'm using the elephant ears to cover the creek as they grow. I'm going to let those kind of just cover, and the creek will be covered completely eventually, and give me that shade I'm looking for, so it'll reduce the algae growth.
Now, have you seen any mushroom action?
Any what?
Mushrooms.
Yes, I have seen a couple of mushrooms here and there, but they're gone quick.
Are they the little black inky caps?
They're little like gold looking caps, tiny little things. I've seen some over here up against the creek, and I saw some over the terrestrial side. But other than that, I haven't really seen any like major mushrooms popping up. No. But like I said, each run I cut, and then I pile IMO 4 and 5, or basically 5 because I got the shit in it. But I put a layer, about a 2-inch layer of that, and then I put a layer of that, about a 1/2-inch layer of that sand and silt that comes up off out of the creek, and I lay that creek sand and silt over top of the IMO. And then I lay the straw, then I lay the alfalfa or Timothy hay down on top of that. That sand and silt, that layer, turns into this black gold because the worms and all the critters just devour it. So that's how I'm getting that layer, that sand and silt layer, come up out of the creek into the soil pockets by using that sand and silt to wick that water up. But I've noticed that if I don't replenish the sand and silt, see, here's some fresh sand right here, but it turns into black real quick. So all of this used to look like that. And once the worms get done with it, like I said, it's just turns into black gold. And this is what I want all across the top layer. So I just spread that sand all across the top, and it just gets incorporated into the IMO 5. And yeah, everything just seems to love it. There's just so much life down there. I mean, all you got to do is move a finger, and like there are worms and just rove beetles and isopod. It's like an isopod freaking heaven. Isopod. This is like an isopod. Like
I think that's heaven for everybody.
yeah. I mean, isopods really love it. This is a Kimmy Pure bag. This is an old Kimmy Pure bag. I just took it out of the creek and replaced it. But for like the next week or two, I'll just be moving this around. So I'll leave this here for a day, and then I'll move it over here for a day, and then I'll move it over there for a day. And then once it dries out, I'll take everything that's in the Kimmy Pure bag and put it out in the compost bag in the bin.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
So I'm reusing just about everything. And you can see the ivy, the English ivy is starting to come off the hill here. So I'm going to run this on down around into the bed, and then the ivy is going to give me a good ground cover.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's coming along. It's definitely a project, a hobby for sure.
It's a very rewarding one. I mean,
I love it, Leighton. I tell you, I couldn't have asked for it. It's what I needed for me in my life and my situation right now. This is what I needed, man. I couldn't thank you enough.
Hey, you did the work, my friend. You did the work. That's all that really matters.
I appreciate it. This is the jasmine, that pink jasmine that's just taken over. I'm going to run this up to the ceiling, and that's going to cover my exhaust pipe here. But you can see the jasmine is just completely taking over this whole corner. It runs all the way around. It comes around here, the jasmine does, all the way to the end. I'll show you. Where did it go? I just had it here. Oh, yeah, here it is. Damn, it's gotten covered up already. Look, all the way around here. All the way around. It's all the way to here. It's all the way to here. So it's come all the way from the back of the room. Where's it at? Right there. That's almost 14 feet. and wrapped around. So yeah, we're gonna let that keep on growing. Eventually.
It's always rewarding when people get excited to do creative things like this. I love the addition of the terrestrial section. That's great. You might want to think about getting like a bearded dragon or something to kind of keep the isopods at bay. I know that some people have had them overrun their system when they have what you've got, which is a great amount of organic matter. And that might be cool, a nice little cool addition to your whole system there.
Well, I have thought about that, and the only one bad thing about it is that everybody that I've talked to about them say keep them away from cannabis.
Really?
Yeah, they just tear up stuff. They tear them up. Like they'll climb up on the trees and break branches, and like they like to be up in it. You know what I mean?
Right. So there's different ones. There's chameleons are the ones that want to be up in the trees. But I think there's other ones that are just basically ground dwellers. They don't like climbing. So maybe do a little research on them. But again, it's just something to keep the isopods from getting out of control.
Well, you want to know? I have found dead isopods in the creek and in the pond.
Okay.
So that seems to be where they go to perish. But like I said, I've got. I mean, the isopods. I've got the roly polies for sure, but I've also got a lot of dairy cows now. So the big old dairy cows, And then I've got some yellow and black. I forget the names of those. Anyway, but the dairy cows are really big, and those are some really good guys to have around in here because they break down a lot of organic matter.
I wonder if they can outcompete with the isopods.
You know, I'm seeing. I don't see the isopods. Like the only time I see them is if I move something. So I have to move something in order to see them. So it's not like I'm like seeing them overtake. Like I can walk around here and not see a single isopod. But as soon as I pick up, it's like. So that's how it is. You know, as soon as I move something, boom, isopod. But if I don't touch nothing, you know, it's not an issue. So I can come over here and just move this rock, and you can see the worms just under the rock. So that's how it is. You can move anything in this whole bed, and it's just worms and life, and it's crazy. It really is. I had no idea that it would turn into like what it's turned into. I mean, I knew it'd be if I got it right. I mean, if I'd done the soil right and didn't overthink everything like I normally do, and just let nature do its thing. Yeah, beautiful things happen, man. Beautiful things happen.
Well, that's the hard part of us humans. We tend to want to manage instead of steward.
Yeah,
With
just get out of the way. Got to get out of the way, really. Like, but I think that really it's about setting up that foundation. I think if you can get this foundation right, if you can get the base, like your foundation of the whole system, you get that right, everything else flows in. Because if you get those layers right, to where those roots are hitting those multiple layers in that soil horizontal system, and you separate that soil from all that water down here in the reservoir, beautiful things happen because that water has a place to go. That soil doesn't set and go anaerobic. Life has an opportunity to grow and thrive, and it stays. This is where the creek comes into play because it stays so moist all the time. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to, other than maybe spritz some on top in the morning sometime just to keep that top layer. But if you put your finger just not a half inch, not even the tip, down just a little bit, it's moist all the time. No matter where I put it, it's moist all the time. Doesn't matter. Like that's from that sand and that silt, that organic matter that has broken down over the last 10 months in the soil, and it's just continuously wicking. And any excess water goes right on down to the bottom into the reservoir and exits the soil layer. Everything stays moist all the time and allows the biology to just turn, man. I mean, nonstop. It's nonstop. So it's not like I'm getting a lot of people they want a dry back. No. There's no dry back. I would never dry back my soil. Like hopefully the soil never goes dry. Because that's when you're going to have problems.
So I have a question. Have you grown these cultivars before?
No, these are all first time.
Okay. Because it would be really interesting to see, like what the difference is between your past experiences with them before you had this setup. Because I think you're going to have not only an incredibly well-balanced end result, high in terpenes, low, or I should say manageable THC, but you're going to have all the other cannabinoids that like Dr. Ethan Russo is studying now. And the benefits of those terpenes and the minor cannabinoids are really incredible what they're discovering. So kudos to you for having a system that's producing, with that level of end flower. This is just fantastic. I can't wait to hear from you after you've gone through dry and cure and actually had a chance to enjoy your work.
Oh, I'm enjoying the last run right now. But like I said, the last 2 runs we did were just, average. It wasn't nothing special about it. It was basically like I was growing out of my 4x4. But I'm definitely seeing a huge difference in. It doesn't matter. The cultivar. You know what I mean? I can see the difference. I can just see it. I can smell it. I can, everything about. And that's not taken away from the genetics. The genetics have a lot to do with that as well. But the profile that I'm seeing is so complex. Like it's just unbelievably healthy and vibrant. The colors are more there. The white pistils are just super white versus like that, like some are brown. You know what I mean? It's just it's different. And it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. And a lot of that has to do with the light too. I'm figuring out the lights. So a lot of trial and error is still to come. And like you said, that's what I'm doing right now is I'm testing cultivars. I'm trying to narrow down what I want, trying to find what the wife wants and what I like. We're all new to this. I've only been, growing for 3 years really. And so I haven't found the actual cultivars that I want to grow yet. So that's what I'm kind of doing is hunting. And once I find them, then we'll run them again. And like you said, we'll get to see the differences in the terpenes and how and the growth basically of how I can change the lights and change terpenes by just changing the light. Can I turn the light up, down? Can I increase the red a little bit and get more terpene, or do I need red at all? Which I don't believe you do. I don't believe you need red at all. I think what's in the blues and the cool white, now that's in this Grandmaster. I'm using Grandmaster LEDs. So that's just in this setup here that I have. So the Grandmasters, I'm just using their cool white and warm white. As far as the reds go, I don't think you need them at all.
Well, it would be beneficial when you're first waking up the lights, or waking up the bed, and then when you're getting ready to put it to bed for 10, 15 minutes. Just again, biomimicry.
Yeah, exactly. Mimicking that sun going down below that tree horizon, and basically that beam of light that the plants are getting through the trees. That reddish light that they're getting. I could see where that would be beneficial. And I know that these Grandmasters can do that. They have a sunrise, sunset feature, but I just haven't tuned it in yet. You know what I mean? I haven't, it's 4 different channels that you can play with. Yep. So there's like a million different settings you could do and play with. So this is only the second run I've done with these. And I have, played a little bit on the last run, and that's where I kind of burnt some tips, and I was burning the flower up a little bit, putting too much of that red and that deep red in. So I learned my lesson, and I took that out, and I'm going to say I have not seen flower perform this good, like all of them, like they just every single cultivar.
Yeah, and those are pretty radical cultivars too.
And they're all different. Like I said, I've got Kush in here. They're all hybrids. I've got some Grape Gushers times Peach Pistols. This is a Verdi Skunk from Luna Whitcomb. And then this is the Grape Gushers. I'll show you the Grape Gushers actually right now. This is from OK Calyx, Kevin over at OK Calyx. And his Grape Gushers right here. This thing here is the terpiest thing in the whole room right now. And it is orange. It's orange, grape, gassy, funky, foot funk, grape type. It sounds nasty, but it smells delicious.
So here's a suggestion. Reach out to the people that you got the genetics from and see if you can find somebody that's growing in a different style and swap a couple nuggets with them so that you can see the difference that yours is making. That might be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, that's a great idea. And actually, I was going to do, but like I said, I want to get some really good stuff before I go doing that. So I want to get the bed up to potential. You know, the first run, I was basically running off of the soil that I had bought. You know, I bought really, really good soil to start off with. And that was already amended. You know, I used Big Worm Organics. Here, he's a local guy. So the first run was basically I was running off of his amendments in his soil, but I did not amend anything after that. So the second run was kind of weak. You know, everything didn't look very good. I put in the IMO 4 and 5 on top of that second run, and now we're seeing that now. So this is the third run. So what I put in on the last run is now what we're seeing now in this run, and we're seeing it. I mean, it's definitely the diversity was in that. It's yeah. There's no lacking. I'm not seeing any streaking or burning down here, and everything's just green and healthy as can be. Like all these plants, look how they just branched out. Like look at all the branching on that thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very
And
structured.
yeah, the structure on all of them did that. And yeah, and I know that's the reason I say that is because I've never had healthy plants like this. I've just started doing this, 3 years. So everything I've ever grown, I've had issues, especially in the bags, especially when I was growing in 4x4s and in the 30-gallon pots. Like I just could never dial it in. And with going in this big system and setting up everything and giving everything a home and allowing everything to do its thing, so to speak, so let nature run its course.
Yep.
I noticed that, I've heard a lot about the Johnson Su, like we were talking about the Johnson Su bioreactor. Well, that Johnson Su takes a year.
Yep.
They say after about a year is when the diversity really hits. Well, this is only 10 months old, going into 11 months. So here, the year turning point, I hope next year at this time, I mean, it'll just be unbelievable. I don't know what I'm going to have to be. Yeah, I'll have trees in here. I don't know what we're going to do.
You'll have to do a little pruning. But hey, you'll have material for your compost pile outside.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, we're going to have to cut some stuff out of here because it's getting crazy in here already. I mean, the jasmine over there is going to take over the corner, and then I've got these elephant ears literally growing out of the floor. Look at them over here. I got this one over here, and then I've got the one coming out of the hole. So I'm gonna let this one come right on up out of the hole.
Why not?
Yeah, and I mean, those are giving me those roots down in the reservoir, like
Yeah,
those things. That's down in the water.
Yep, they're pulling up excess nutrient, and they're cleaning the water. So that's great. And that's what a lot of those aquatic plants do. So again, well balanced. You have an amazing system.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's awesome, and it's really fun to have, and it's really fun to see everything evolve. Is what's cool about it. Like here's Pooter. He is the brightest goldfish I've ever seen. I think that's from the lactic acid bacteria, and the EM1 scales are just as bright. It's unbelievable. I hope my camera isn't dirty.
No, it's coming through great. I mean, it's just so good to see everybody so healthy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's Cooter right here.
What up, buddy?
He's hungry. And here's Scooter over here. She's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Now I wonder if they eat the isopods that get in the water.
Yes, they do. Yes, I've dropped them in there. I dropped a couple of isopods in there, and they boom, 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 gone. And Pooter, the goldfish, swallows them whole. It's gone. Yep.
So you got exactly what you need to keep everybody in balance.
Yeah, and the black soldier flies. Here, I'll show you the black soldier flies. I'm breeding these things over here, and so these things here. Look how big this thing is.
Nice.
He's alive too. He was just moving.
You're going to use that as a feed source, or are you going to use them as
Yeah, feed. Yeah, there. So look at the biology in here. That's more biology. This is just IMO. If I can get it on camera.
That's beautiful.
So if I dig down just a little bit, you can see the mycelium. It's quite cool to see how it just gets all clumped up. Yeah, this is what goes in the bed next. You can see dead soldier, black soldier flies. So yeah, it's good stuff, man. You know, all contributed to you, man. I thank you for teaching me how to do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Along with a lot of other people that are in the community. And it's just, you know, once you get into this stuff, man, it's like hard to get out, especially for somebody like me who's OCD and ADHD and all the other D's and A's you got.
But you're not when you're in there.
Not in here, baby. Not in here. I'm good in here.
That's what I call medicine.
This is medicine. Yes. I got to talk to Calacamus Coot, Jim Bennett.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got to talk to him, and he actually gave me a great compliment. He was like, you know, that reminds me of a Zen garden, like a Japanese Zen garden. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was going. This is more about mentality, my mental health, and just not just I want great cannabis. You know, I love cannabis, and it's my medicine, and that's the only type of medicine I do. I don't take pharmaceuticals, me or my wife. And yeah, this is my mental health here. This is
so. Did you send Coots a video of this?
Yeah, he was on the show Let's Be Buds. I'm on a show every Wednesday now. Yeah, I got invited to be on a show every Wednesday at 9 and Let's Be Buds. And one of the people there, my co-host is Spartan Grown.
Okay.
Russ, he knew Jim from way back, and he got him on the show. So we got him on a couple weeks ago and got to introduce him to the system and showed him the system and told him, you know, how it works and everything. And he was new to the horizontal. I told him about you and the horizontal system. And he was new to the horizontal system. He had never, you know, he had never grown cannabis, you know, like this. You know, he had heard of, you know, soil horizons, but never of anybody putting it in, you know, a cannabis grow.
Yeah, I talked to him about it years ago, but it wasn't the main topic. The main topic was more about the one and how he got it and how it blew up the whole world back then. So
yeah, we actually talked about the one quite a bit. He says he's released over 8,000 cuts, and yeah, it's out there. The one is out there. There's so much there's so many different breeders, and there's so many different types, and so it's just been crossed and cut, and it's just I don't know how you would ever pick a favorite, because I have so many favorites. You know what I mean? Everything I like it all. That's why I have a problem.
What also might be fun is reach out to Kevin Jodry and some of his what are those seeds? He's got Panama Red. He's got stuff from Hindu Kush.
Yeah.
And they're all landrace, which are super special because they haven't been inbred so many times that they've lost some of the, you know, the original profiles that have been lost to, you know, the hybridization of canvases. So that might be fun to throw a couple of, you know, those in there and just see what you get.
Well, you might have missed the last run, but the last run right here, I had a land race in here.
Oh,
and
nice.
it was from India, and it was from Autolong, India. And let me tell you, if I hadn't have topped it like 10 times and bent it over 10 times, it would have been 15 to 20 feet tall. All right. And it wouldn't have finished until next December.
All
That
right,
was my only that was my
maybe
only
not,
problem with the land race.
yeah, maybe not a good idea.
But yeah, the Peter over at Future Cannabis Project, he had some guys growing some land races, and another buddy sent me. Lights just went out. Another buddy sent me some auto long land races just to test out. And I stuck them in there, and yeah, that was a fun time dealing with that. You can go back at my Instagram and take a look at that. It got crazy. And I cut
Nice.
them I cut them early, of course, because they just wouldn't have finished. Now you can kind of see how bright Pooter is down there. He would come out. So I keep when the lights go out in here. So the Grandmasters are out, but I have the UVA and UVB lights still going, and they'll stay on for another 10 minutes just to give me that little bit of a shadow that you see.
Yep.
And that's the next 15 minutes these plants will get that UVA UVB shadow that you see, and then the lights will go out over the pond, and then we'll be in the dark.
Nice. Well, let's give you time to get out of there and make sure that everything is tucked in and put away. I apologize about the dogs and the timing.
You are all good.
Definitely want to see you on again, my friend. I mean, I really enjoy seeing this evolving as the way it is. And, again, kudos for you for putting it together and then enjoying the fruits of your harvest or fruits of your yield or yields from your harvest.
And I appreciate you 100%, sir.
All right.
And let me get back there. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, Leighton, I couldn't thank you enough, man. I appreciate you having me on the show.
And I think there's one question, Ken.
Yeah, Josh, do you find that the plants other than your flowering ones go through seasonal changes?
I haven't seen the seasonal change other than like the leaves turning. Once the temperatures start to go down a little bit, the leaves will start to turn. You'll start to see some purples and some colors and stuff like that. See, kind of like what you see behind me there, starting to see some of that color.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I've seen.
Where are you located, Josh?
I'm in Virginia, near Williamsburg, Virginia.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. Right here on a freshwater reservoir right down there. You can see the water right down there.
Beautiful.
And that's where I'm getting the sand and silt from.
Nice. So it's already biologically active. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's good to go. I got some sitting right here right now. Here, I'll show you. I've got some that's sitting on the asphalt out here, getting cooked by the sun right now. So I'm cooking out all that bad. Did you see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm cooking out that bad biology right now. So I just rake it out on the on the driveway here and shovel it up into some buckets and just sprinkle it into the creek.
Nice.
Works fine. The worms will turn that in. That's what it looks like before it turns into soil. Just sand and silt. Beautiful. And then it'll turn into soil, and we'll be off to the races.
Beautiful. Well, listen, I really appreciate you giving us an hour again. I apologize about the pups. Just it is what it is. And Ken, as always, thank you so much for all the time and effort you put into behind the scenes to make this happen every week. And I'm sure we'll have you on again, Josh.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to see what you're doing. And guys, if you haven't followed Josh on IG and his YouTube channel, do it. Watch somebody actually build this system. It's amazing.
Yeah, we got a website coming soon, so I'll have some merch coming, and you can be able to get a T-shirt, Cooter and Scooter, and all that stuff. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
we got
count me in,
we got
man.
one.
Count me in.
I'm gonna send you one. Don't worry, lady, you get one.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, guys, we'll end it there. And you guys, don't forget, we're talking about nutrient or natural disease control on Wednesday with me and Andy. So you're going to want to check that out. But, guys, have a wonderful week, and we will see you again soon.